It's human. The voice crackled through the comm system, laced with equal parts confusion and disbelief. Commander Velrix, his 8 angular eyes narrowing to slits, leaned forward in his command chair. His mandibles clicked together in irritation. "Explain yourself, Loxer." "Human? Out here." Velrix's voice carried the weight of 1,000 commands issued over decades of interstellar service. Loxer, the ship's sonologist, hesitated before responding. His translucent skin shimmered under the faint bioluminescence of the ship's bridge, betraying his unease. "Commander, the vessel, its design, its insignia, it matches historical Earth archives. Early 22nd century, Sol System, a class of ships known as, colony seeders. But it's impossible. None of these were supposed to leave their system." Velrix's clawed hand tapped against the armrest of his chair. "And yet here we are. Sensors confirm." A deep hum filled the bridge as the AI, Morith, processed the request. Its voice, cold and mechanical, emerged moments later. "Analysis complete. Vessel designation matches Earth Colonial Seeder Class 4. Registration, Erebus. Estimated date of origin, Earth year 2147. Status, derelict." Velrix let out a low growl. "Erebus? Isn't that the mythical human vessel rumored to have vanished during an experimental mission?" Loxer's gelatinous form shifted uncomfortably. "Precisely. The mission was classified even among humans. According to the scraps of history we've pieced together, Erebus was sent on a secret journey far beyond their solar system. Its crew was never heard from again. The humans, they speak of it like a ghost story." Velrix's mandibles twitched in intrigue. A ghost story. The concept was absurd to a Xantharian like him, but he'd learned long ago not to dismiss human myths entirely. Too often, their stories contained a kernel of truth, a truth that could shift the balance of power across the galaxies. "Morith," Velrix ordered, "initiate proximity scans. Identify life forms, cargo, and structural integrity." The AI responded immediately. "Structural integrity compromised. Significant hull breaches detected. Minimal power readings, likely from a backup reactor. Life form scans inconclusive." "Inconclusive?" Velrix's tone sharpened. "Interference from the ship's hull and an anomalous energy signature," Morith clarified. "The source is unlike any known human or Xantharian technology." Velrix's claws stilled. Anomalous energy. He didn't like mysteries, but he knew better than to ignore them. Mysteries, in his experience, often held the keys to unimaginable power or devastating consequences. "Prepare an away team," he commanded. "Loxer, you're with me." "Morith, maintain orbit and monitor for any unexpected activity." "Acknowledged," the AI replied. Minutes later, Velrix and his team stood in the docking bay, staring at the looming shadow of the Erebus. Its hull was battered, scarred by centuries of cosmic debris and radiation. Yet, amidst the decay, the Earth insignia remained eerily intact, a blue and green sphere encircled by laurel leaves. Loxer's tendrils quivered as they approached the airlock. "Commander, are we certain this is wise?" Human ships of this era were unpredictable. Their technology was crude, but their ingenuity is exactly why we must investigate, Velrix interrupted. "If this ship truly carries human secrets from centuries past, they could be invaluable. Or dangerous." The airlock hissed open, releasing a cloud of stale, pressurized air. The team stepped inside, their boots echoing against the metallic floor. The interior was a haunting blend of the familiar and the alien. Control panels, coated in dust and frost, displayed faintly glowing symbols in old Earth languages. Stray wires hung like cobwebs, swaying gently in the artificial gravity. "The energy source is deeper inside," Morith's voice informed them through their comm units. "Deck 3, Sector 4. Velrix gestured for the team to move forward. The corridors were unnervingly silent, save for the occasional creak of stressed metal. As they descended toward the third deck, a faint sound reached their ears, a rhythmic tapping, like the beat of a distant drum. "That's not possible," Loxer whispered. "No life signs detected." Velrix raised a claw, signaling for silence. The tapping grew louder as they approached Sector 4. It wasn't random. It was deliberate, almost communicative. When they reached the source, the team froze. In the center of the room stood a stasis pod, its surface frosted over but still operational. Inside was a human figure, eyes closed, their features preserved as if no time had passed. But it wasn't the human that drew their attention. Surrounding the pod were pulsating, organic structures, alien growths that seemed to merge with the ship itself. The anomalous energy radiated from these growths, casting an eerie, shifting glow across the walls. This is no human technology, Loxer stammered. Commander, I recommend immediate extraction and quarantine. Velrix ignored him, stepping closer to the pod. The human's face was serene, yet their hands were clenched into fists, as if they had been fighting something, or someone, before succumbing to stasis. Commander, Moritha's voice interrupted. Sensors are detecting a spike in the anomalous energy. I advise caution. Before Velrix could respond, the tapping resumed, this time louder, coming from everywhere and nowhere. The alien growths began to writhe, their movements synchronized with the sound. And then, a voice, low, guttural, and unmistakably alien, rumbled through the chamber. Leave. Velrix's mandibles clicked in frustration. Identify yourself, he barked. The voice laughed, a deep, chilling sound. You trespass where you do not belong. The sleeper is ours. The growths surged forward, blocking the exits. Velrix drew his weapon, but he knew instinctively that brute force wouldn't solve this. Whatever intelligence they faced, it wasn't bound by the laws of physics or biology. Commander, Loxer pleaded, we need to retreat. Now. Velrix hesitated, his eyes fixed on the human in the pod. There was something about them, a sense of importance that went beyond mere curiosity. They held answers that could reshape everything. But the voice spoke again, its tone darker this time. Stay, and you will share their fate. The ship shuddered violently, and the alien growths pulsed with a blinding light. Velrix made his decision. Fall back, he commanded, firing a warning shot into the writhing mass. As the team retreated, the laughter followed them, echoing through the empty corridors. And as they boarded their own ship, Velrix glanced back at the Erebus. The derelict vessel hung in the void, a silent enigma cloaked in darkness. But he knew this was far from over. The human sleeper, and the alien force that claimed them, had only just begun to reveal their secrets. The docking bay's airlocks sealed with a heavy thud, and the tension in the team was palpable. Velrix could feel the eyes of his crew on him as they left the Erebus behind. His second-in-command, Caliph, broke the silence first. Commander, she said, her voice steady but tinged with concern. That was no ordinary derelict. Whatever we just encountered, it's beyond us. Velrix nodded. For now. But we've seen too much to simply walk away. Morith, scan the data logs. I want every shred of information we've gathered analyzed. Analysis already in progress, Morith replied. Preliminary findings indicate that the anomalous energy is of nonlinear temporal origin. It is manipulating space-time around the Erebus. Calitha's spine stiffened. Temporal manipulation? You're suggesting the ship is out of sync with time? Precisely, Morith confirmed. The stasis pod and the surrounding growths are synchronized with this distortion. The human sleeper may be the key to understanding it. Velrix's mind raced. Temporal anomalies were rare and dangerous, but they also held the potential for extraordinary discoveries. If they could harness the knowledge locked within the Erebus, it could elevate their species to heights unimagined. But the alien presence, it was a threat unlike any they had encountered. Prepare the lab for containment, Velrix ordered. We're going back, and this time, we'll bring the sleeper with us. The crew exchanged uneasy glances, but none dared to question the commander. They had all served under Velrix long enough to know that his decisions, though often perilous, were rarely wrong. As the ship's engines roared to life, Velrix stared at the viewport, his gaze fixed on the shadowy outline of the Erebus. Somewhere within that vessel lay answers. answers to the questions that had plagued humanity's disappearance from the galactic stage, and the role the Xantharians might play in the unfolding tapestry of history. He turned to Loxer. Get me everything the archives have on Earth's colony seeder missions. If there's a pattern, I want to see it. Loxer's form shimmered with apprehension. Commander, what if the humans knew what they were doing when they abandoned this ship? What if we're awakening something best left forgotten? Velrix's mandibles twitched in a rare display of humorless amusement. Then we'll make sure it remembers who woke it. The ship hurtled back toward the Erebus, and with it, Velrix's crew hurtled toward a fate intertwined with the forgotten remnants of human ambition and the alien forces that sought to claim them. The tale of the Erebus was far from over, and Velrix intended to be the one to write its next chapter. The Xantharian ship Veilstrix edged closer to the Erebus, its powerful scanners trained on the derelict vessel. Inside the command deck, Velrix paced, his angular frame tense with anticipation. The decision to return to the Erebus carried more than the weight of curiosity. It carried the risk of destruction, a risk he was willing to take. Morith, status update on the anomalous energy field, Velrix barked. The field's intensity has stabilized, the AI responded. However, additional fluctuations are likely if we attempt to extract the stasis pod or interact with the alien growths. Kalitha's voice cut through the tension. Commander, the team is prepped. We've outfitted them with reinforced energy shields and temporal stabilizers, but it won't guarantee full protection. Velrix nodded, his mandibles twitching slightly. It'll have to do. This mission is too important to delay. Too important to survive, perhaps, muttered Loxer under his breath, his gelatinous skin rippling. Velrix shot him a glare that silenced further objections. The boarding crew departed once more, this time equipped with specialized containment units and advanced scanning devices. As they entered the Erebus, a strange calm permeated the air. The rhythmic tapping that had greeted them before was absent, replaced by a deep hum that vibrated through the walls. The energy field is denser here, Kalith observed, her voice steady despite the growing unease. It's almost like the ship itself is alive. Velrix didn't reply. His focus was on the stasis pod, still encased in frost and surrounded by the writhing alien growths. As they approached, the pulsating light from the growths dimmed, as if aware of their presence. Commander, Moritha's voice chimed in their comm units. Proximity scans indicate heightened energy activity in your vicinity. Proceed with extreme caution. Velrix signaled the team to fan out. Kalith approached the stasis pod, her weapon drawn but lowered. She wiped a layer of frost from the glass, revealing the human's face more clearly. Their features were sharp, determined, and somehow familiar. This isn't an ordinary colonist, she said. Look at their uniform. It's adorned with markings I've never seen in human archives. Military? Experimental? Before Velrix could respond, the room shook violently. The alien growths sprang to life, their tendrils lashing out in all directions. One of the team members was caught in an instant, their shield flaring uselessly as they were pulled into the mass. Hold your ground, Velrix roared, firing his weapon into the growths. The energy blast seemed to slow the tendrils, but only for a moment. They recoiled, then surged forward again, stronger and more coordinated. This isn't random, Loxer shouted. It's defending the pod. Kalith activated the containment field, enveloping the stasis pod in a shimmering barrier. The tendrils recoiled violently, emitting a high-pitched screech that reverberated through the ship. Commander, Moritha's voice was urgent. Anomalous energy levels are spiking. If you remain on board, the field could destabilize your temporal anchors. Velrix cursed under his breath. Secure the pod and retreat. Now. The team moved swiftly, Kalith and another soldier carefully maneuvering the stasis pod onto a hover sled. The alien growths lashed out again, but this time the containment field held firm, repelling the tendrils with bursts of light. As they made their way back to the docking bay, the tapping noise returned, louder and more insistent. It seemed to echo from within their own minds, filling their thoughts with fragmented whispers. Return. The sleeper. Kalith stumbled, clutching her head. It's in my mind. The voice. It's showing me something. Velrix grabbed her arm, steadying her. Focus, Caliph. We're almost there. The ship groaned as the alien energy surged one last time. A bright, blinding light engulfed the corridor, and for a moment, everything was silent. Then the light faded, and they were back aboard the Veilstrix, the stasis pod secured in the containment bay. Back on the bridge, Velrix stood over the pod, his mind racing. The human sleeper held secrets that could either save or destroy them. But what haunted him most was the voice, the alien entity that claimed ownership of the sleeper. Caliph, he said, turning to his second-in-command. What did you see back there? When the voice was in your mind? She hesitated, her usually steady composure shaken. Fragments, images of Earth, but not as it was. A future Earth, overrun by something. A shadow consuming their cities, their people. And the sleeper, they were fighting it. Velrix's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. A shadow? Could this be connected to the alien growths? Caliph nodded. I think so. Whatever this shadow is, it's tied to the sleeper. And I think it's why the Erebus never made it back to Earth. Loxer's voice trembled as he spoke. Commander, we've meddled in something far beyond our understanding. The humans sent the Erebus away for a reason. What if we've just brought that reason aboard our ship? Velrix's gaze hardened. Then we'll face it. Whatever secrets the sleeper holds, we'll uncover them. And if this shadow threatens the galaxy, we'll find a way to stop it. But as he stared at the stasis pod, Velrix couldn't shake the feeling that they were already too late. The galaxy's forgotten past was awakening, and with it, a threat that could rewrite the future.